Thanks so much to all my patrons. Join now to help support the channel and help pick the books that I review. Link in the description. And I am done. Okay, so I just got done reading Of Empires and Dust. This is book 4 of The Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill, and I want to give you my unedited thoughts upon finishing this book, which was literally just right now. So, yeah, I want to say like 3 stars. But I'm going to say like 3.5. 3 for me is like middle ground. Kind of emotionless. I don't care. It's like whatever. It's a little bit above that. 4 is a good book. This is like somewhere between like decent and good. Now, in a lot of cases, if I was reviewing a book like that, I'd say, yeah, above the 50% line, that's decent, whatever, not a complete waste of my time. And while I don't feel like this was a waste of my time, it's the lost potential that really disappoints me here. Because I have been a huge advocate of The Bound and the Broken. I still am. I definitely still think people should read this series. And I also suspect, once again, that my less than stellar review for a book that has some popularity is going to be not the popular opinion, which is great, right? I want people to have positive opinions of their books. That's why we read. But I've been a big fan of this. I have brought a lot of people to this series, and I feel like, certainly not the biggest champion out there for this series. There's much bigger booktubers that have really stamped, their name on this, and that's great. But I've definitely been one of those people that's advocated this a lot, and to then come out for a book that I'm so excited about to say less than glowing things, I definitely I hate that I feel like I have to do that, and that sucks. But I got to be honest, that's how things roll on my channel. So let's talk a little bit about the series. We'll talk about the things I liked, and then we'll talk about the things that I did not like. So this series is really, like, at least in my mind, the only, and again, I could be missing something here, like the only like huge, massive, epic fantasy that's being written right now. And by huge and massive, I mean books that are clocking in way above 1,000 pages. Like this one's like 1,700 pages that are sprawling in their depth, that have tons and tons of characters. I mean, this book has a what happened before section of the story that is dozens of pages long. I mean, that, and it's needed because there's so much happening here that you would feel lost. And, glossary of characters, gorgeous map. What other fantasy out there is working at that scale? And I suspect there's a lot of reasons for that. It's probably very difficult to get a publisher to be committed to you for that. And for a self-published author like Ryan Cahill, you really have to devote yourself to something. You put so much more time and energy into something like this than you would in a shorter story. I mean, multiple times the amount of effort, and do you get multiple times the amount of money? I don't know. So I definitely understand a little bit about why this is the case. But Cahill is like the guy to go to if you're looking for, like, what's the wheel of time being written right now? What is the and obviously, Stormlight Archive is the other major epic fantasy being written that's in that scope, obviously. But if you're looking for something there, this is like that older, long, huge fantasy story, and I love that kind of thing. And so my feelings on this have bounced from, like, I thought the first book was good, but really derivative. But then the second and third books were about as good as they can get. I mean, they're amazing. And this book has a lot of the same things going for it. I mean, we obviously are dealing with the same cast of characters, the same plot. Things are moving towards their conclusion. I don't really know exactly where the story's going, which is great. We're getting the characters that we know and love. We're getting more depth out of them. We have an engaging world. We have an engaging plot. And to keep that story going, even though we're in that weird kind of book, I think this is like the second to last, maybe third to last book. And so you're kind of in that middle area, things you're trying to gear up towards the end, but you can't blow things up to a huge degree. And there was indeed some of that, but there's some huge explosions as well. But overall, you know, there's a lot of good things here that existed before that we're just continuing on with. The problems here were, and like, look, I don't do these videos without notes. I mean, I obviously, like, I start these videos off, I come off like I just finished the book. I do just finish the book. I don't think about these things before I do them. So sometimes I may say things without, like, fully thinking through them, because that's not what these reviews are. But so, like, maybe I'm wrong on these kind of things, but something is wrong with the editing process here. Something is looser than it was before. And I'm not just talking about the page count. The page counts before were in the low 1,000 range. And now it's 500 plus pages longer than the second longest one in the series. And I don't know that book needed that much length to it. It felt a little similar to my feelings on A Wind in Truth by Sanderson, where it just felt like it's noticeably longer. It noticeably didn't need that extra length, and it should have kind of tightened up what it had. And that's just the case here. And I'm not just saying that, again, because it's so long. I have read longer books that I have given 5 out of 5 stars to, that I felt like could have been even longer. But this one just missed it on that end, because I think the amount of different major events that happened here, if you were to map out on a single page piece of paper and said, like, what happens in this story, if you condensed it down into one page and you looked at that and you said, how many pages would it take to tell this story? There's nobody on earth that would tell you that it needed 1,700 pages to get through what we got through. There are books where you could read that and be like, oh my God, this has to be 5 books, right? Like, there's so much happening, but, like, there's not a ton that happens here. It takes so long to get from point A to point B in this story, continually, with all the different characters. We have to have so many unnecessary dialogue scenes that don't tell me more about a character, or tells me about a character that I don't really need to know about, that it just feels like wasted words. It feels like the author keeps being told, I love the depth you're putting on this story. It's unique. It's fresh. I wish more authors did it. And he's taking that and going, I know what they're telling me. I just need to do more of that. I need to keep doing more of that. And I think Cahill needs to take a step back and say, like, what do I want to be as an author? And, you know, do I want to listen to the fans that are telling me this thing, or do I want to write the way that I kind of was writing? A little tighter, a little faster. And I don't have to know about every single character in this story. I don't need to know everybody's backstory. It's needless, right? Like, I'm not reading some lit RPG story that's going to go on for the next 30 years. I'm not reading The Wandering Inn that's 100 volumes, where, yeah, let's go into that depth, right? Like, these characters don't matter, so many of them. And perhaps at the end they will. And I will need what I've gotten here. But, like, just as a small example, I don't want to give any spoilers here, but we've now spent several books following the actions in a dwarven city that I don't think needed to be in this story. And, like, we're talking, like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages here. Like, for what? Like, it doesn't really have to do with the rest of the story. And I guess it's a interesting, compelling, like, little side thing going on, but a little bit. But that's just, like, one little piece of this. I mean, you have these entire chapters written, and when you look at it, it's like, what did I gain from this? And I think a lot of authors will read that back to themselves and go, yeah, I don't need to include that. That's not needed. But I think what Cahill's going is, I need everything. I need to make this as long as possible. I need to do what the fans are asking me to do. And I think it's to the detriment of the story. I think things are getting way too confusing. We're at the point where we have too many characters that have too much going for them. We have characters with way too similar names that then we have characters with similar names that talk to each other. And that's not like excusable. And it just ends up being a lot of like searching through the pages to find who's this character again, searching up their name in the before story, and then you look at their name in the before story, and the before story really is only talking about the story just before this one. And so the character you need to know about, because they were relevant 2 books ago, isn't even covered in that. So you need to read the one that was in the previous book. Or the little short teeny snippet at the end of the story, and they might not even be included in that. So it just, God, like it sounds like I hate the book, and I don't. It's just like I'm frustrated, and I want it to be that 5-star that I know it could be. And like, is there an editor here? I think you need a new one. I think you need to really tighten up the package here, Ryan. And I'm talking to you, like, you're probably not watching this. I mean, I'll be here for it. Like, I want to read that next book. I want to check it out and be excited for this again. But I don't want to read another 1,700-page book that overdoes it, right? Like, I want you to go back to what you did in the second and third books. Those were magical. Those were special. And I think you got it. I think you got it. Let's just make a little tweaks here and there and see what we got. Or maybe better yet, just don't listen to me, because you're probably killing it right now. You're probably being like, "What are you talking about? I've got more book sales in this one than any of the other ones. Life's going good for me." Great. I hope that's the case. Truly. But I'll check out the next book and we'll see where it goes from there. But for all of you, check out the series if you haven't already. Do what I've suggested with people is read the first book, and if you think it's just okay to good or great, then keep going, because the second one, everyone agrees the second one is totally different and better than the first. So check them out. Read like halfway through the second book and before you like really make up your mind. And I think you'll be in for a treat if you like epic fantasies. So that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching this. And as always, happy reading to you. Kind of messed up that finger thing there. Let's try that again. All right. That's it for me. Thanks so much for watching, and happy reading to you. Thanks again to all my patrons, with a special shout out to my Ascendant tier and Librarian tier patrons: Amy, Alex P, Anna G, Brady K, Doused, Darren, Jerry, Jonathan, Nev's Book Channel, Ron Reich, Ryan L, Sydney Baker, Anna, Blair, Eric Cannon, Joe UK, Kat Mick, Ricky Iman, and Sky. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video, and if you want to watch some more content from my channel, click over here and I've got some good videos for you. Thanks so much.